That was Tom Veck there with a chore on Manchester 106.6. This is Funny People with me, Jamie Kilday, and this week's funny person is George Cottier. Are we okay still? Are we okay still?
Yeah. Can you, when you just say it is George Cottier, and I'll go, that's me.
That's George Cottier?
That's me.
Lovely. Now, George, I've had a text in now off somebody wishing to remain nameless about minglers, saying that they don't think that they actually exist.
Can I have that number?
No. So, how do they exist? Is this something that people...
Honestly, go on any internet comedy forum, talk to any comedian after they've done their middle 15,
right, okay,
and say, hey, whatever the name is,
okay,
Anthony Oscoricopter, what, tell me about minglers. You probably meet one.
Okay.
They're always there. Mike Taylor, he's a well-known mingler.
Okay.
He's like, they think he's the major mingler on the northwest circuit. We call it a circuit.
And so they patent jokes.
No, they're there to make sure. They're like whips in political parties, and you can go to a mingler and you say, look, so and so over there has taken my joke. Matt Price, comedian, just for instance, has stolen my ventriloquist joke.
Right, okay.
Which he did do. What are you going to do about it as a mingler? And I go, leave it with me. And he goes over, and, I've used minglers, I've had minglers used on me, and I've challenged them with my minglers.
Okay. And, so there you go. That's, so you've proved the theory that minglers are out there, and they're doing their bit for comedy.
They go up and they say, look, you're using jokes, you're out of line. If you don't stop it, you're going to get a punch.
Right, okay. Not that we advocate physical violence.
No, but the minglers do.
Or any violence, for that matter. Not just physical violence. No, all violence is bad.
What about systemic violence? Like the violence that just occurs naturally over long periods of time within economic and social systems.
It's not a good thing.
No,
it occurs.
It's funny though, isn't it?
Can't advocate it. Now, we've talked quite a bit about Chortle, and I was doing a bit of research about yourself, and I've noticed that you've been banned from the Chortle website. How did this come about?
Yeah, well, this is a very unfortunate situation that's occurred with myself and the selves of the people who run Chortle. I went online, on the internet, and I went on and just, you can comment on other comedians, so I commented on some comedians and said what I liked about their sets, Larry Dean, Rob Coleman, some other ones.
Right, okay. Other comedians that who
I've definitely seen.
Right, okay.
And I went and I just sort of commented on him and said, oh, he's good at this, he looks a bit older on stage and stuff like that. And talked about Larry Dean trying to kick a dog. And then I got all this flack of people saying, get off Chortle, get out, stop coming on here. You can read about all this as well on www.georgecottier.co.uk.
It's on your website, the reasons why you were kicked off Chortle.
Yeah, it's on the news section, you read all about that. You can follow it like a little story. And, yeah, I got thrown off. I tried to log on, nothing. I tried 10 times to log on, and not once of those 10 was a successful attempt to log on to chortle.co.uk.
So how has this affected your approach to comedy now?
It's kind of, it's very much, well, on the one hand, I get about 100 gig offers a week now, because people know that I'm real.
Right,
and,
okay.
But on the other hand, it's kind of...
How do you fit these gigs into the week?
What?
How do you fit these 100 gigs into the week? I'm assuming you don't do them all.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
But 100 gigs in 1 week seems quite...
do them in the evenings.
It's quite a lot.
I do in the evenings.
Okay.
So, anyway, that really has jeopardised my career. People like Matt Price, comedian, Rob Coleman sticking his oar in.
Right, okay. These people aren't here to defend themselves, by the way. It's
good.
Okay.
And then I sent an article, because Rob Coleman then put up an article on Chortle going, oh, George Cottier is an inferior comedian to what I do. And I was thinking, no, I'm a better comedian than you.
Right, okay. So it was...
And I sent an article in response to his article, and Steve Bennett sent me a very, very... I won't go into what he said, but he said something that was not especially nice. And
Right,
it's in
okay.
an email. There are people involved.
But
in this,
okay, we'll
you know
carry
what
on
I mean?
anyway. It seems like a massive
few
conflict
legal
of egos here. It seems to be quite.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to talk about comedy and why I like stand-up comedy and people like what they say.
So do you think people are misunderstanding yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a mate who's Brazilian. He doesn't speak any English. Anyway, like, a lot of the comedians misunderstand. There's a lot of egos
Right. Okay.
flying around. People.
Do you think that's the problem in comedy at the moment? People. Why do you think there are so many big egos in comedy?
I don't know.
Do you think it's quite an egotistical job?
I don't know. Like, I'm not egotistical. I mean, it's other people who've said I'm the best comedian. So maybe that's it. Maybe people are so bad at comedy and being bad comedians and horrible men
Okay.
that they feel that they have to just send horrible things in an email.
Okay.
Anyway, you can go on www.georgecottier.co.uk, have a look at my things.
And see how this is all unfolded.
Yeah, it's unfolded like a horrible.
Like an origami swan.
Yeah, if you want to put it like
Yeah.
that, I mean.
This is Funny People
Origami swan.
with me, Jamie Kilday. As I say, James Beck is normally on the show and he hasn't made it for whatever reason. We are going to be ringing him in the next hour of the show to find out where he is and why he hasn't turned
If you've got a
up.
funny reason you think that he hasn't turned up, call in.
If you know where James Beck is, send us a text on 07757 083 438 and let me know where he is. I'm worried
Also,
about him.
it's a competition we got. It's if James Beck was a hip hop MC, what would his name be? Give us a call.
Yeah, if we'll do that actually. Yeah, if you think James Beck is a rapper, a hip hop MC, what hip hop MC name would he have? What would he come under? He would be MC what? Send a text 07757 083 438. We're reading all of them out in the next hour of the show. In the meantime,
Also, call in on 0161 918 6911 if you know what race he is. Call in with his race.
in the
Tell us.
meantime, now here at Two Door Cinema Club singing What You Know on 106.6. That was the Black Keys there with Next Girl, and before that you heard Two Door Cinema Club singing What You Know, Manchester 106.6. This is Funny People, my name's Jamie Kilday, and I'm joined by George Cottier, this week's funny person. Now I want to ask you a few questions about your influences and why. We've touched on why you wanted to be a comedian in the first place, and now I want to see who inspired you to be a comedian, or who do you enjoy on the circuit currently?
I don't know my influences, but as far as people who are like at the moment, there's a guy called James Cottier, who's a writer, an actor, a director, and a comedian.
All right.
He does all those things. He's genuinely, I think he's a genius.
And has he inspired you in becoming, well, a better comedian?
Oh yeah, definitely. It makes me want to produce more because he's got the most output on his website I think I've ever seen from any one comedian.
Right.
It's huge. He's done everything. He's done dramas, game shows, audiobooks, playlets, thrillers, just the whole gamut of genres.
And so what is it that inspires, or what is it you enjoy about them?
He's difficult to explain, really. If you go on, he's got a website. It's www.jamescotter.co.uk. He's also on Facebook. You can find out what he's up to. He's recently been in Jesus Christ Superstar. He played an apostle. I spoke to him, met him. He's a very nice guy.
You've met him?
Yeah, I went down to Exeter to see him.
Okay.
4 hours.
The journey to Exeter was 4 hours.
4 hours there.
It's nice, Exeter. I've been to Exeter.
Yeah,
it's not as nice as Torquay, but it's nice.
Yeah, it's full of southwestern people, isn't it?
The nature of the being of the place, it is in the southwest.
Originally natives, weren't they, of Britain, and the Angles and Saxons pushed them into southwest,
Okay.
into the horn of the foreigners, Cornwall. That's what that means,
Okay.
and why Wales means foreigners.
Is that correct?
That's actually true. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, is there anybody else who you inspires you at the moment? Any comedians that?
James Cotter. James Cotter's amazing. Right, he did this thing called The Matter of Principle,
Right.
which you should listen to. It's an audiobook adaptation of a short novel that is an adaptation of a monologue. And he's inspired very much by the works of Alan Bennett and people like that.
Okay.
He collaborates. He does a series of podcasts with his mate who always gets it wrong, James Cord, and they sit and they have conversations about like academic subjects and things like that. And then James Cord like gets it wrong a lot of the time.
Oh.
And James Cord says, "What are you talking about? That's wrong. What you've just said." And that's amazing. It's called the Cotter and Cord Show.
That's a podcast.
Yeah, it's a podcast.
Okay, that leads nicely into a little segue about this show. This show is also available as a podcast. If you've enjoyed this show currently and you think you'll enjoy the rest of it, you can listen to it all on a podcast. This the bit now will be on the podcast, so people can listen to this about me advertising the podcast they're already listening to.
Podcast.
You like the word podcast, don't you?
Yeah, if you want to listen to my podcast, you can't.
Because you don't have one.
I don't have one.
No, but you'll be on this one. This is Funny People with Jamie Kilday. I think.
Can I put this on my website?
You can put this on your website. It's on iTunes. It's also at www.jamiekilday.podomatic.com.
How much do people have to pay?
And it's free
on iTunes.
It's free. You just subscribe to it on iTunes and it comes through. And also, it may be worth pointing out that at www.northmanchesterfm.org, the station's website, you can listen to this full show with music, because the podcast is this show without the music, but you can listen to it with the music for a full week. So if you want to listen to yourself, George, or you want to get anybody to listen to it, they can listen to it for a full week live, or not live, but recorded at www.northmanchesterfm.org.
Podcast.
Never inspired by doing a podcast?
No.
Okay.
So James Cotter's got this. He did Thriller as well. He did one called. What was it called now? There's one called Fear, which is him where he's trapped in a white space and he can't get out.
Right, okay.
He plays Robert Bestford, who has no friends or family, so no one will know where he is, and so he gets very afraid. There's one called, what was it called now? I'm going to get slated by my fellow Cotterists.
So this is James Cotter.
Yeah.
So just Google James Cotter and you'll be able to find him.
Gruesome Affairs, that's what it's called.
Gruesome Affairs.
Gruesome Affairs.
So George Cottier recommends James Cotter.
He plays an adulterer.
Oh.
In Gruesome Affairs.
Oh.
That's why it's called Gruesome Affairs.
So check that out. There'll be more from George Cottier, and there'll probably be more stuff about James Cotter later on in the show. But in the meantime, here's the Arctic Monkeys singing "Don't Sit Down" because I've moved your chair.
Podcast.